Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
See me?
No, I can't see him.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. How are you?
What about seeing me? Visible?
No,
You're not visible.
your picture is not coming. Now here you go. I can see you now.
Okay.
Now,
No,
now
I was using a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 password. It was coming wrong. I didn't see it.
no.
Now, then I got it later. Yeah. That's why some 5 minutes have been lost in that. And when you
No.
called me, I was in the midst of some other meeting. Okay, just yes, tell me. No, you can ask him to send you inside. Come inside.
You can unmute yourself. I think you are muted, sir.
No, somebody was coming. And the middle and Dipankan Bombay on Visapati, customer person on Varachurika. You sit and talk with him. Yeah, let's start. Come on.
Yes. So good evening, sir. On behalf of all these buyers, we would like to put a vote of thanks and our gratitude towards the way that you are.
All these formalities. Come, let's go straight to the subject.
Yes. Now we will go to it. So to start up with few concerns which these home buyers are facing in a way that not exactly the concern, but yes, more of a confusion, dilemma, the state of uncertainty. So let's start up from this part wherein the hot iron is payment. The payment of buyers is definitely a hot iron wherein many of confusions are there. So if we see to the precedents, on July the court ordered for 3 months payment, which was subsequently extended by your good office, and then in January, the date was given, and then again you looked after the concerns of and the grievances of the home buyers, and you allowed them to give whatever best they can put forward. Now buyers are, I mean, there are subsequent orders to it also, but the way that you are now planning the payment schedule, we would request you to, if just give us some insights about how do you plan to put these payment schedules. In absence of any such schedule right now, buyers are in a state of confused mind of what they should do and what they should not do, though they are putting their applications to bank. If you can just share your insights on this particular aspect.
See, this payment schedule has been a vexing problem for me, right? One reason is, that there are different ranges of payments by home buyers. People who have made 20% and people who have made 80 to 95%.
Okay.
And how do we put all of them into one bracket? I don't think that is possible and fair also. So people who have made 80 to 90% said, sir, we have made a substantial payment. Our project can be got over in another 6 to 12 months. Why are you asking us to pay more? Those people who have made 20 to 30% payments where construction is yet to start, they are asking me, why are you asking us to pay now? Everybody is asking the same question, isn't it? Therefore, to have one common formula for all is a very difficult proposition. Then everybody says construction link plan was the old thing. Why can't we switch back to it? And why do you want a different kind of a plan and a proposal? Our SBI cap says that we must have a firm commitment from home buyers for the projects which we propose to fund. And they say 15% or 75%, some formula, whatever it is, right? Now, therefore, given this complexity of the situation, how do we really have one common, principle for making payments? So what I am thinking now is, after discussing intensively with NBCC and our committee of auditors, I have a fairly reasonable picture of the work schedule of NBCC for all the projects. So to give you an example, if we say Centurion Park terrace homes, and which if the work is to start in August 2020, and they have given me a schedule of works. Let's say there are 5 towers where work will be completed before 18 months. Let's say 18 months. Let's say another 10 towers, it will take, let's say, 24 months. The rest will take, let's say, 34 months. So they give me this kind of a breakup. Consistent with this breakup, suppose we say that the work starts in August. Whatever be the payment that have been made so far, I'm not getting into that. If the work starts in August, NBCC will require by November 30% of the balance payment to be made by a home buyer. Then February 2021, they would require another 30% to be made. Then August 2021, they will require, let's say, another 20% to be made. By November 2021, 20% to be made, so on and so forth. Suppose they give a chart like this and added to this, I say, you will essentially go by this suggestion of NBCC, which is a construction linked, more or less a construction linked plan. Plus, additionally, if I give you 1 or 2 more options, those who have no difficulty in making payments in one go or in 3 or 4 installments or whichever way comfortable for them. In addition to that, right? All right, I'll say do that also. So that the objective, the end result is the NBCC need not be worried at every point of time that the next month payment will be in doubt. Okay. Therefore, I am trying to work out a schedule like this. Once it is finalized in the course of this week, I will upload it. Along with this list, along with this work schedule, I'll also upload another detailed mail addressed to all the home buyers where I'm going to share the work that has been undertaken in the past 2 to 3 months and the kind of options for payments and what exactly the kind of sources, funding sources are the likely fallout to the funding sources. I will include all the details in the mail and also upload it on my website. So these 2 things will be uploaded by the end of this week. But I'll also say these are reasonably final. But if subject to further events happening in the month of July, let us say we have also put on motion the sale of FIRs in Silicon City and Princely Estate this month. MSCC has finalized his auction notice. 2 days later, they will come and issue the advertisement. So we propose to get some result in the month of July. And if we get, let us say, 200 crores after this money, and ED money coming about 180 crores. And so we have roughly about 400 crores on hand. I have in mind one proposal I want to discuss with the Committee of Auditors. And if we keep moving, for instance, the Greater Noida hospital projects and the prefab project, I am getting a lot of requests. But I want to bring that request on a transparent basis so that we get a reasonable return for them. There are some very well-established industrial concerns who are now, keen to buy the hospital and also the prefab factory. Somebody from Ahmedabad, they would like to probably purchase the prefab factory as it is. So all this taking a little time. Suppose I'm successful in that. By end of, let's say in August, I would have another 200, 400 crores on my hand. So all this, out of all this money, I want to keep a reserve fund of a minimum of 100 crores so that it can be used for any eventuality. Suppose there is a shortfall in the home buyer's payment at a given point of time. And I would like to use the reserve fund. I am having discussions with the Committee of Auditors on all this. So once I finalize it, as I said, in the course of this week or by Monday latest, I will upload all the information on my website. Now, I have also lots of 3 or 4 people who have come volunteering to help me, like Dipankar Nandi is here. And so my office has been also working on the, customer list. So I want to finalize the customer list in another week's time. I also want to upload it on the website so that we can, within a month's time, we can completely update it. So I was just having a discussion with the Dream Valley High Rise People Association. Just before I started, I had a discussion with them. So they have volunteered through their efforts to collect, if possible, all the updated information of all the home buyers and put it on a platform. So I suggest for each project separately, there will be a platform so that I can connect separately. And then within my website, we will have a separate platform connection. So all this is being done. So, so tell me what else you want me to answer.
No, I think the questionnaire that I shared, you have already covered most of the points there. But as far as this customer data was concerned, we, as you rightly said, that you will be helping buyers in terms of putting that customer data. Now there is a niggle in this part, which you may perhaps also agree that the data updated in Amrapali may have certain discrepancies. We're not contesting the data, but what concerns would be perhaps may occur in later course would be, let's say there is a mismatch. So how do we go about it as a buyer?
No, the kind of mismatch you expect can be from the point of view, let us say, the value of the unit. Okay? One such possibility. The second is where there are multiple sales. Right? So let me understand what kind of mismatches can be. According to you, what kind of mismatches will there be?
Let me just give you insight about what we have done. Is we have a buyer's website here. In this buyer's website, what have we done here is we have a customer data. I mean, the data which perhaps you have, we also have that same data, which we now in that data, what we do is we have started this exercise 6 months back. What we are doing here is we are asking, let's say if you are a Centurion Park buyer, any buyer, I mean, we have the data, know that I have in my position, I have those data. So 6,000 buyers data, we have it. Now, let's say if any buyer, perhaps you as a buyer want to know what is your balance. So what we are doing is we are currently sharing the data in terms of what is the unit cost, how much has he principally paid, what is the tax unit, tax component builder has raised, and what they have paid and how much is the left. So for now they have it. We have, while sending this data, analyzing this data, we have figured out some duplicities also. For an example, in low rise flats, there are two duplicates there. Two duplicates means double sale. Double sale has happened there. So both the buyers are in touch with the group and as well as personally with me also. Where in high rise, terrace high rise, we so far we have identified 12 of such cases wherein double sales has been done. Now these buyers, I have told them that there would not be any uniform solution. If you are talking about developing a mechanism for this, it won't be a uniform solution. The best it could be is the moment the customer data is uploaded in the receiver's website. You can put your documents if you feel that somebody else's name is written, because it would not be a scenario wherein two persons' name would be written in the same data. It would be either his name or the other name or the other party. So in that case, buyer can go or approach to your good office and figure out whether he needs to pay it now or he should wait for any clarity, and then I think you should be able to do a fair justice to them, because they don't want to put any money knowingly that their data is not there.
I entirely agree with that. As far as those cases are concerned, and if you are in a position to share them with me, we will try to resolve those cases.
Yes. No, okay. I will share it with you.
We'll keep aside those cases for the time being, but we'll try to resolve them. No problem at all. I think we can resolve them. We'll have one or two more formula for resolving them. So as you said, there can't be one universal formula, maybe one or two more formula.
Yes.
So, but let us keep aside all those cases. What other mismatch do you think there will be in the customer data?
I mean, apart from duplicity, there could be a mismatch. For an example, I was talking to many senior citizens. A recent case, I was talking to somebody yesterday. They have lost their son who has booked this flat. Now, what builder has done is, let's say his son was a high-rise buyer. He was active till 2014. He made payments till 2014. Builder raised certain demands to him in 2014. Then in later half December 14, he got expired into an accident. There was no communication. Family was not aware of any such bookings or payments he was doing it. What Amrapali did is they sent an email to him that defaulting your payment, we are cancelling your unit. Now, when I figured out this entire story, I see that that buyer's name is out and some other person has name has been written into it. And the payment which I tried to analyze was mostly a payment which is an adjustment payment. The buyer who is claiming that flat, he was a brick supplier to Amrapali. Amrapali didn't pay him. They allotted a flat to him against this cancellation. So his father was in touch with me day before yesterday, and he was asking me what should be the solution to me. I said, the best way could be, try to analyze, try to figure out your payments, or how many payments you have, what payments you have done. Figure out, try to find out the agreement, and try to reach out to the receiver's office, because these cases are not the usual cases. They may be one or two cases, but there are plenty of these cases. And since you rightly said that you are putting the updated data in your blog or a website, I think these cases may come up slowly and gradually.
Okay. I mean, so what I suggest is, to the extent within your knowledge, whatever cases are there, you try to consolidate them, right?
Yes.
Let us classify them. If possible, I'll assign somebody who can look into their documents.
Yes.
And find out if you can say, all right, the first allottee will be treated as the correct allottee. The second allotment post 2014 or 15 will have no legal recognition. And the payments, if any, made by the subsequent allottee, which is like an adjustment allotment, will be brought before the notice of the court and will ask a direction from the court.
Perfect.
Right?
That would help. That would help them. Similarly, there are other cases. I mean, the other cases are like, for an example, let's talk about this case only. Now, his flat has been given to somebody else. Now, their parents are old. They want to pay their 10 lakhs amount, which he was liable to pay. And since he's no more there, they wanted to pay. Now the question arises: the flat is not under their name. We may get the clarity.
So first we must clear this, and
Yes.
then ask. I understand that. So
Now,
therefore, let us consolidate all these cases.
Yes.
And give all of them. Let's say in a fortnight's time, you please give them to me. Then we'll spend some time on it and try to clear it in the course of this July or August.
Perfect. Now,
Right.
subsequent to this question is a similar sort of a question, but there's no case of duplicity. Let's say that that person is kind of expired. Now he's no more. The flat still is registered under his name, but his parents are old. Now there is nobody else in the family who could take a loan, or the parents perhaps being an old, paying their rent, medical, and all things. They are unable to take a loan. So how do you plan to help them?
No, the question is, in such cases, whether the parents would still need this allotment or not.
They would
They would need it. So, but then, even if they need, but the balance payment may have to be made, isn't it?
Yes.
So how do we help them? There can't be a home loan. There can't be a loan. There has to be other assistance coming from some other source, right? So even these kind of cases, I know that the cases people where a husband is dead and there are no parents and the wife with the children are there.
Yes.
I received number of such letters also earlier. So let us do one thing. The kind of cases you are now talking to me, let us first pick them up, identify them, collect the documents, and then we will sit and try to resolve each and every such case. Suppose there are about all the projects put together, the kind of parents who would not be in a position to make any payment at all, right? And but if the payment balance is, let's say, 5 to 10 lakhs, then we'll find out from some source, namely, we create a proposal to the government of India.
Okay.
Right? You have some kind of a constitutional obligation to do all this, and you create a fund which will be a real stress relief fund for the senior citizens beyond the age of 70 years. And if we say, we'll have to work out. I don't know. I'm not very clear. We have to think about.
I mean, this is just a food for thought. I mean, the person who was talking to me, he comes from a hardcore ministry background. I mean, he was working. He retired from Ministry of Urban Housing and Development, so he has seen all these things. What he suggested and proposed to me, I asked him, what do you propose to let's say if you are putting this question to court or receiver, what is your solution to him? What do you think? He said, is it a possibility since his son was the legal applicant? So banks would not entertain or go into any engagement. Let's say if his another son or maybe his daughter who wants to avail a loan, they don't have a document available within their legal rights. So is there any possibility wherein using your powers or perhaps seeking court's direction, we can nominate somebody and we can, as a nominee to this flat, we can give them or allow them to go to banks and borrow some loans? Can it be possible legally?
We can do that. I think in the BBA there is a scope for a nominee, no?
It is there.
So the only additional thing required is whoever is the nominee, right?
Yes.
The nominee will be treated as eligible for a bank loan. The court can direct it.
Yes. So legality point of view, it can be done, right? It is workable.
For instance, in the context of registration, I have handled many of these cases. I've got registration done in the name of the nominees.
Okay.
And then there is one case, couple of cases where, and some advice people have got this BBS drawn in some HUF name, but registration cannot be done in favor of HUF. So I have given general instructions to the Noida authority for registering in the name of any nominee. And there have been cases where joint purchases were there. Somebody has died. So I said, whoever is available now, the legal shall be treated as a legal heir or a nominee on my advice, and registration has been done. So I've done all that.
Okay, perfect. So we can extend. I mean, the question was whether it can pass the list, legal litmus test. That was the question.
Not a problem.
Now, sir, there was a concern, grave. I mean, if we look at these unsold inventories, we were hoping that, since UCO Bank came into the picture, the buyers were very hopeful. Perhaps Centurion Park was the most hopeful because we have some 1,000 odd inventories. So we were hoping that maybe UCO Bank will give some sort of a infusion or a seed capital to the project. But since now the story is all gone, so how do we go about it? I mean, is there any additional source that we are trying apart from what you have elaborated in the first half?
As of now, I have not anything on my hand, though I'm exploring various sources. Some are at a very private level. I've been talking to some people. I hope maybe in another 15 days time, I can have some proposals which I can put up before the court. Nothing very concrete now, but I'm still working. It's very difficult for me to say anything now. So I think we should ask the court, because of the inherent difficulties in the whole management of funds, the threat given by the court to the ASG that you ask the government of India to make some payment, I think we should pursue that.
Okay. And sir, in previous hearing that you proposed some waiver of GST at that point in time, which is still unaddressed. I mean, the court did say that, it's a government of India policy. They won't intervene in, and they deferred this matter. So are we still hoping some GST waiver?
I will bring it at a later point of time. Strategically speaking, if you find there are more stresses to be handled, well, GST issue I'll take up again. Suppose we are comfortable in our fund mobilization, then I'll ask for some partial modification of GST liability. It will all depend on how everything turns out in the month of July and August.
All right, sir, help us, in terms of, help us in terms of your meetings. You are doing marathon meetings with the SBI caps, and you are trying to put some seed capital here, as you are referring to. Is there any possibilities of Centurion being considered into this? And if you can just share the terms and conditions.
Centurion is there in their proposal. The question is not whether they will do it or not. The question is, the kind of terms they are stipulating are very harsh. So we are trying to simplify whatever they are saying. Their approach is like a private equity funder into a corporate structure.
Mm-hmm.
So they want a huge corporate structure to be created. They want a special purpose vehicle. They want a CEO to be appointed. They want a monitoring system. They want all the FIRs to be pledged with them. Then so many things are being asked. NBC says, I am not comfortable with all this. They say, look here, we are a project management consultant. And we will supervise and oversee the entire construction. But we can't be supervised further by SBI cap and somebody will be sitting on top of us. We are, of course, liable to give a monthly report to the receiver on construction activity. Beyond that, any kind of mechanism. So if SBI sessions are taken into account, one, I have to form a company. Then their money will come in as debentures. Then there will be a tax liability. Then I will have to deduct TDS at source for all payments I give to NBCC. Then there will be GST. Then all the staff they would like to appoint, they will monthly salary will be not less than, let's say, 10 lakhs or 5 to 10 lakhs. So year wise, you will have about 1 to 2 crores being spent on that infrastructure. I want to avoid all that.
Okay.
So that discussion, we had a discussion yesterday also. We had NBCC, all of us had shared our comments. They shared their comments with us. I think it will take a couple of more meetings when we can finally, nail down anything.
So perhaps
maybe SBI cap issue may require one more hearing. May require.
But you are suggesting that Centurion is still in the race. It's not ruled out.
It's there.
Sir, help us understand what is your SBI's what is their expectations from buyer? I have heard, I have seen
the affidavit which they filed last time. I shared it with you.
Yeah.
The same thing. They're only repeating it.
So they want 75% upfront before financing.
They want 15% of 75%.
In 3 months.
Yes, that's right.
So again, it would kind of create a imbalance with the schedule of yours, because NBCC doesn't talk about 15%.
I know, but if I can balance both, tune both, then I think wonderful. No problem.
Absolutely. We hope you should be able to do it. Sir, there was one more pertinent question which every member of group is asking. Last time, as far as my information is concerned, there is about 142 crores, which was kept in the recovery fund, out of which NBCC has availed 136 odd crores, and most of the funds have been used in the Noida project. Now, keeping in view that ED is going to deposit some money, I'm sure they must have not done it, deposited So let's say that 187 is going to come again. I mean, in the previous recovery 136, there was some 48 odd crores which was deposited by Royal Golf Links. Now this money was diverted from the O2 Valleys project, which I have also mentioned to you a couple of times. So now the buyers are concerned in a way that of around 536 odd crore Centurion Park has diverted. Is there any mechanism which you are going to put it to the distribution of this recovery fund, or you will be going by the tendering of project? I mean, so far the money has been utilized for the projects which has put to tenders or wherein the tenders has been awarded. So is there any mechanism which you would like to explain?
I have some thought process, but I am still not fine with it. Let me tell you. Since we are committed to using a project fund to that project, right? Ideally speaking, suppose if by August 2020 for terrace homes or Centurion Park, NBCC would require, let's say, 100 crores to commence the construction. And we don't have that 100 crores. Question is, where else do we go? We will not put our hand into somebody else's money. So we are looking for all the payments coming from sale of Amrapali property. What I have in mind is, while these sales will continue to happen, right? As I said, there are people who are now very keen to buy the hospital, very keen to buy the prefab factory. So if I can have a mix of negotiation plus the MSTC auction, then by maybe August, September, I can expect another 200 to 300 crores from these sales. What I want to have in mind is that I want to keep a reserve fund available, right? Even out of the sale of these properties, Suppose I say, I set apart 50 crores minimum for each project. As and when money comes into the sales account, I will set apart 10 more crores for each project. But apart from the apportionment, let us say I want to keep a reserve fund. Reserve fund of 20, 30, 40, whatever the amount we decide. The reason is, in case there is a shortfall in the construction-linked payment plan by home buyers, if there is a shortfall, for whatever reasons, I should be able to bring from the reserve fund into that project.
Okay.
Because I think even if you ask home buyers to keep payment according to construction plan, there is bound to be some default or the other.
It would be because there are many buyers.
Somebody will have some problem or the other. Okay.
Yes.
I hope it is not a big problem. There will be some problem. So I'm thinking on all those lines. So I think once I have the MSCC FIR auction conducted, which will be over, advertisement will be issued in another next week. So we hope to complete the MSCC auction for FIR in the month of July, before end of July. So once all this money comes in, then I'll start working on these proposals.
Okay. So are you also considering Centurian Park's additional FAR, surplus FAR to be put to
We will
say...
let us sell it, Amit, now.
No. Okay. No, I understand that point. I understood
Let
that
us
point.
not sell it now. We create a market and then sell it.
Okay. Sir, there is one more, concern of home buyers. There are many, as we were talking about that old, parent situation. There are many such cases where people have left their, they have been jobless in COVID-19 situations and all. They are facing hardships. How do we go about them? How do we ask? I mean, what should be the suggestions to these buyers? What should we do to these
Let
buyers?
us first collect information about such people.
Okay.
Let us first
Project
collect.
wise.
Verify their credentials. So because anybody can say something on the mail, I don't know anything.
No, perfect. I got your point. I mean, it has to be validated.
Kind of a verification of the credentials on their stand. Once we do the verification, then we'll see what else can be done.
Okay. So,
but what happens is, suppose for such people, we say, all right, I'm relaxing something. Everybody will say, why are you relaxing?
Correct. It happened. No, I understood that point. I mean, you've been dealing with so many sections of people starting from, various level of IQs. I understood your point. So there is one more, request which has come up from mostly the senior citizens, the single mothers, who are retired now. They have paid 100% as per following the court's judgment of 2019. They have paid 100%. Now, they belong to such phases wherein NBCC has given them 36 months or slightly more than 3 years. Now they are paying rent. They have asked me to specifically raise this point to you to seek your opinion on this. Is there any possibility wherein they have paid their whole amount, nothing is left? If court wants or you want, we can validate it, and you can perhaps also validate it. Right. Is there any possibility, keeping in their age factor, we will go by age factor or perhaps with a case to case basis? Let's say if 12 or 13 people are there in Centurian Park who would want to be shifted to O2 Valley, because O2 Valley we have some 220 watt flats to be further sold. Now, is there any possibility where we can give some relief to them by shifting them from terrace to O2 Valley on a case to case basis?
How do we do that? Please tell me, how do we do that?
It would be like, they have there are some unsold inventories.
All right.
Keeping in mind, let's say if we talk about 100,000 odd square foot flat. Now, let's say if somebody like me, I will take as let's say if I'm 80 years old. Now, I have a 1,000 square foot flat in terrace homes. Can it be shifted to O2 Valley at the cost?
Suppose you shift to O2 Valley at the same cost.
Yes.
Right? And then make an adjustment on the Amrapali, customer account and the data.
Yes. Yes.
So this will become vacant. Right? What they currently have will become vacant. So it will come into the kitty of unsold inventories.
Yes. But right? At that time, that O2 Valley inventory will be used up.
No, O2 Valley?
In that case, let's say if we shift 10 flats from terrace to O2 Valley, there are some 200. Yes, there are some 220 flats there. It would be like 200 odd flats left. At least 20 would be consumed, and these people would get some sort of a relief.
No problem. Let us say we explore it. we must
Yeah.
know the financial implications and the practical issues involved in it. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
what consequence of a shifting like this? Now, there are lots of applications pending in the court for swapping and shifting. The
Yes.
court
Yes.
has not entered the request so far. Now,
Yeah.
suppose I pick up these 20, 30 cases like this, saying there are very odd cases, hard cases because of the age factor. So we will consider, court will permit the receiver, right, to consider such hard cases on a case-to-case basis and allow them to be shifted from one unit or one project to another, subject to, let us say, payment of a cost or the differential payment, price. Then I don't think then I have a difficulty, but I need the court's order.
Okay, so I think if we can compile it, on a case-to-case basis after validation, I think there is no harm in proposing.
Please do that. I have no problem. Let us compile it, and then maybe if not by 10th of July, the subsequent hearing we can take it up with the court and get it done.
I mean, not now. We can always do it as per. Let the words start. We can do it later.
You have to now give me number of classes of such cases, right?
Okay.
We have been discussing it, so you can start collecting all the information. So we have a data analyzed by, let's say, end of July. Then I will tell the court, I want the court's direction for the following way.
Okay. Sir, there is one more request and complaint which is coming out from home buyers. There are, in Centurion, I have done a thorough analysis. The end users who are actually the flat owner, there are some 55% are the investors. Investors in a sense that somebody has invested their amount staying in XYZ location and put their money into this one. Now, out of these, some 20 odd percent, 21, nearly 20 to 20, in between 20 to 21, I have figured out these people, they have defaulted to even Amrapali and they are not following their, the payment schedule. You will be putting it later on, but they are not following the court order, and these are self-financing buyers. They have no relation with.
Give me the list of all these people. We will send one consolidated notice to all of them and tell them that if you are not following the court order by 10th of July, your case will be reported to the court and will be cancelled.
Absolutely. So that would help us. The ultimate motive is that a buyer should come forward. They should walk an extra mile, because you've been and court been helping buyers in terms of getting their dreams. So the only concern which buyers are that the court is not going hard on those buyers and perhaps asking other buyers, genuine buyers.
Perhaps they don't have that kind of a data with them.
Might possible. So we are ready to go by case to case basis in that case, right?
So what I would suggest is, in the issues which you discussed, prepare a database.
Okay.
Then we'll sit together, have another meeting where we will think about what kind of directions can be taken from the court. We'll do one thing, set after set of directions, then the court will have clarity. There is no mix up.
Okay. Sir, at the end, my last question to you would be, since we are talking about home buyers to come forward, I personally believe that this is a very grave situation, perhaps to home buyer. They must come forward to walk an extra mile. What is your expectations from buyers? What do you want buyers to look at it and to consider it, and then to help you in terms of achieving the target? So what is your expectation?
It's like very interesting political question. Okay.
No, it's not political. It's not political. It's more of we want to know. What do you think about us?
Now, if I am on a public platform, I would have said, raise my hand and said, no problem, we'll do this. But I can't say that, no.
No, but honestly speaking, we want to know what your heart says, because you are the sailor for now.
You have been in this case right from the beginning. I came in later as a receiver. The court has seen a lot of progress in this matter, even though little slow. More speed is expected, but then you know how really things are happening. Therefore, home buyers should feel that, I say, even compared to Unitech or JP, Amrapali is in a far better position. You are receiving greater attention from the court virtually on a day-to-day basis than what is happening in Unitech and JP. JP is still in the insolvency tangle. Now, Unitech, they appointed a board of directors and then I don't know whether they have made any considerable progress. And
No, they haven't done. They haven't done. The Dhingra committee is looking after the sales, but as far as the new board is concerned, they haven't even gone through the road mapping of how to go about these constructions. So they are still clueless about it.
So
I am
therefore,
aware of that case.
you are Amrapali buyers stand in a far comfortable position.
Yes. Yes.
Therefore, cooperation is very important. If anybody says, after a last meeting we had with some of you, and then I uploaded by mail, I have received about 400 to 500 mails asking me, why am I doing this? Right? People have not even read that mail properly. The last paragraph in my mail very clearly says, this is a demand letter which you can take to the bank for the purpose of raising loans, and the payment schedule will be in terms of the NBCC work schedule, or as the receiver may otherwise direct. I very carefully use those words. Why did I use that? Suppose there is a scope for home buyers to follow a different schedule, then we can have a dialogue, discussion, and work it out. So therefore, as I said, in the course of this week or next week, once I upload all the NBCC work schedule and my tentative address letter to all the home buyers, many of those questions will be answered.
Absolutely, it would be. It would be. Sir, there is one more question which I missed out. I've just recalled that question. Lot many people have started paying. Somebody has paid 100%. Somebody has paid as per his best of his abilities. Now, I mean, I have answered them in multiple forums, saying that their question is that we have sent email, we have deposited 100% fees to Supreme Court account. What they have said it. We haven't got any confirmation. Builder used to give us a receipt. We don't have any receipt. I have given them this idea that the moment you make an online payment, immediately you get a UCO Bank receipt. How would you address to those buyers? Because I might be, they might not take my suggestions very seriously. Perhaps you can help them.
See, the UCO Bank online receipt is a good enough receipt for having made payments, right? If I have to now duplicate the process of issuing receipts from the office of the receiver, you understand what kind of work it will involve. What do? I will also download the same receipt from UCO Bank and create one more receipt.
Yes.
So why do you want to duplicate that process?
Yes.
So
yes.
I have told UCO Bank will keep a complete record of all things. So when the work starts, whenever the work has started, what I'm going to suggest is, if people have made payments, 100% payments, I will ask UCO Bank to download the receipts and give me one consolidated set. So that from time to time, I'll keep looking at the receipts. So after let's say 6 months of work of the progress, I will say I'll consolidate all the receipts and then say I'll analyze the data and say so and so has defaulted in so much payment. We will try to upload it on the website. That's the way one can communicate.
Perfect. Sir, there is also one question related in parallel to this question is, many, though I had given them clarity, but perhaps my opinion or suggestions, they may not take very seriously. The question is, how would you or court ensure that their amount, for example, somebody from Tropical is paying certain portion of amount, is to be used in construction of Tropical only? How would you address to such questions or ambiguity?
This is an old question, I suppose.
It is old, but they wanted to hear from you only. I mean, you are the authorized person. That is why I had put this matrix.
Now, see, what was Amrapali doing? They were receiving funds from various projects, right? When they found that they had not enough fund, they were shifting fund from one project to another, and they miserably failed. I think many real estate people are doing that.
Yes.
Now, I should not do that. As a receiver, I should not do that.
Yes.
Now, therefore, in order that I do not shift fund from one project to another project, I must have some comfortable reserve where I can put my hand whenever I want. That's why I want to create a kind of a reserve fund which will never, persuade me to put my hand into one project fund and shift it to another project fund. So if you see, you have seen the UCO Bank payment portal. It has all the details. It has got the name of the home buyer, then tower, name of the tower,
Mhm.
then name of the project.
Yes, yes,
Therefore, that's how even the receipt is generated.
yes.
So once in the UCO Bank account, that's why I get periodically from Dream Valley how much money has been deposited in UCO Bank. I am comfortable. 30 crores has come. Now tomorrow I can take 10 crores of it and give it to NBCC. The way I will lift 10 crores from this will be I am going to generate a NBCC transaction portal where it will be clear I have received the 10 crores from Dream Valley and transferred it to NBCC. It will also be recorded in UCO Bank portal.
Yes, correct. Correct.
So that this kind of payment portal details I'm working out. I am waiting because once we start the construction work, then all this will start, will put in motion.
Okay, okay, perfect. So, anybody else? I mean, sir, there are so many buyers. You may perhaps look at it. There are some 80 odd buyers who are joined, who are with us. Anyone else would like to ask any question from learned receiver? They can.
Without repetition of the issues we have seen.
Yes, absolutely. Do not repeat the issues which we have already discussed. But if you have any pertinent questions to ask, you can ask the receiver. Sir, there is a question coming up from a lady, from this senior lady, 70 odd years old lady, retired from. She is written to me in WhatsApp. She is from Forest Services. She is asking a question, which is regarding to bank loan. His son has applied to a bank loan after your order. Bank are still showing some reluctance to disburse it, and the bank is SBI. So how do we go about it?
See, I am trying to have meetings with 3 or 4 banks maybe this week and sort out all these issues. The bank loan issue primarily, Amit, has a couple of aspects. One, the court has asked them to restructure the EMI, and the loan liabilities. We have still not reached any consensus on how it can be restructured. Once that consensus is arrived at, then the banks will start disbursing the loans, right? Number one. Number two, where this kind of a question like this, whether the original allottee is not applying, a nominee or a family member is applying, the bank will have to follow some prudential norms for grant of loans, right? They can be completely dispensed with. But what I can do is, I can only say, whoever is connected with the allottee as a family member, legal representative, shall be treated as eligible for application of a bank loan. Suppose I give a general instruction to all the banks, right? Then I think they should follow it. That I can do. That's not a problem. But that can happen only after we reach a consensus on the restructuring of the loan issue.
Okay. Sir, there is another question popping up, from a senior citizens of the project. They are asking, how is the receiver looking at the sale of, properties of Amrapali, or maybe the sale of other assets of Amrapali, which are not listed under MSTC's scope of, sale. For an example, the properties of Amrapali, personal properties which are being attached, maybe some other properties. How are we going to liquidate it? I mean, are we planning anything on this front?
MSTC I will still depend on MSTC for a very important reason, Amit. I have noticed that I'll share information with you without disclosing the name, etc. When we decided to sell the FIR in Silicon City, I got a telephone call from somebody saying, "Sir, there is no such FIR available. How are you selling it?"
I know about those people. I am aware of them.
There are this kind of people who generate an information, and then it will go into the market, and then these are problems. Now I am trying to ignore all that, but that's what's happening in the sale of Amrapali properties. So MSCC has in the first round of their collecting all the data from DRT, which took more than 4 to 5 months. They have now got all the information with them. Now, the last month, they have employed a reputed valuation agency, right, for all the Amrapali properties. This valuation agency, I have also endorsed it because everything is done in accordance with the procedure, right? So, by end of July, we have divided all the Amrapali properties into 3 or 4 groups, right? So by end of July, group wise, we propose to sell the properties. So that, properties where there are no impediments, properties where there are some local issues. So I am trying to segregate them.
Okay.
So we do the segregation, we start selling them. Again, the next set of advertisements will be issued in July, second week of July. I also heard, I don't know whether you know it, in Gurgaon, there are a set of commercial properties which has not even come to the notice of the forensic auditors.
Yes, that's Manesar IT Park. I had extensively debated in DRT.
Mihir had been talking to me. I asked somebody to collect all the information. Suppose they are available, I will immediately sell them.
No, I'll give you those records. There are enough orders of DRT. We have analyzed some 14 properties, right? This was actually seized by corporate Ramprastha Bank. So I have that information. I will pass it on.
But that is not shared by DRT with the MSCC. They don't have it.
No, the problem was that we never asked them to give us a compliance report of what are their findings. I personally believe that the court should have asked them to at least give a compliance report of what they have figured out. If that could have,
that never happened. Correct.
But MSTC has in their 9th of June affidavit, they have mentioned these 3 properties. The IT Park property, they have mentioned it, but I'll give you those figures. I'll give you those numbers with address. Sir,
probably with a little more clarity and 1 or 2 more attempts at the outer limit, let us say by December. By December, we would have sold a substantial set of properties.
Okay. Sir, there is a very pertinent question coming out from Bikram's group. You have met them multiple times, I believe. Who? There is a Bikram's group. Now, their group members, they are in touch with me. I mean, their petition, the 77 odd people who are with them, out of 77, some 23 or 25 people are in touch with me. They have asked me before paying whether we should pay it or not. I said, go ahead and pay if you can pay. If you cannot pay, your wisdom allows to pay. The only option which is given to you is that court has taken the responsibility of giving you the homes. There is no way court has, even for the sake of for the sake of buyers' happiness, they have even not said anything about refund. Now there is a narrative set out by Bikram's group saying that you are entertaining the refund cases. So let's send receiver email, or that we want to surrender our unit and we want to exit it. Could you please help us understand what exactly was your discussion with him?
What I have discussed with Vikram is, he said, sir, many people have sent mails and requests for refund. I said, I have not so far looked into them at all. But since you have been repeatedly making this request, I will consolidate all the refund letters which have come so far, right? I will analyze them. And after having analyzed them, prepare a data. And I will also find out what are the implications for the court if these applications are to be allowed. If there is a financial implication, if that is manageable, and well, I will put it to the court. But the court will say, even if there is no financial implication, we are not going to allow any refund. It's for the court to take a call.
Okay. Right? So in that case, sir,
whatever applications I've received so far for refund, I will consolidate them, I will analyze them, and then share the results with the court. That's all.
Okay. Sir, in that case, let's say if somebody has given on Bikram's saying, or I would not use the word influence, but let's say if somebody has sent you that letter, and if he does not want a refund on a later stages, let's say even if could consider it or not, it's perhaps is some uncertain, unpredictable situation. But let's say, if he wants to pay, he can go ahead and pay it. But he is in a catch-22 situation. Let's say if he has paid it, and if he has also given you an exit letter, though he is doing a blunder, but in a later stages, will he be considered as a possession seeker or a refund seeker? Let's say if you put a data to court.
See, I'll put it like this, Amit. Today they are in a dilemma.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're in a dilemma, you don't want to lose an opportunity of being called a defaulter.
Yes.
You don't want to be called a defaulter. So you want to pay.
Yes.
But at the same time, you are paying because of difficulties.
Yes.
Given your free choice, you will not make a payment. You want your money.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we handle those situations? I will say that people who have made an application or request for refund, as of now, insofar they are making a payment, they will be treated not as refund cases for the time being. They will be treated as cases who want to comply with the court's directions and go ahead with the project. But if we encounter further difficulties for them, let's say, and the court says all cases of refund will be considered a year later, let us say, right? And then when the financial position, funding, resources become very clear and comfortable, construction would have moved on into the second or the third stage. We will not consider now. People who really want their money will be refunded their money with some interest and so on and so forth. Then that will be the end of that story.
Correct.
So I don't want to say no to them because they should not feel that I am not responding to their mails.
No, what happened?
It does not mean that I am raising a hope in their mind that I am going to say, well, refund will be given. No.
Yeah, that is what we wanted to know from you, because there is a narrative set by him or perhaps his group that since you are entertaining it, nobody should pay now. And let us wait for one more year and then we will see.
To clarify, I only said I will do the data analysis, see the financial implications, and keep that data ready with me. Whenever it's proper, I'll put it before the court. I'm sure the court will say we are not going to deal with it now. But if you have to give a better deal for people with the refund application, we will definitely give them a better deal at a later point of time.
Oh, perfect. So, friends, since
one question, Amit, can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, first of all, thanks a lot, Amit, for arranging such a session, because most of the buyers get very good insight. I am also a buyer in Amberpali Terrace Homes High Rise. So, concern is, sir, you have already clarified the concerns with respect to the remaining payment, because a lot of showers and doubts are there in the mind of buyers, whether we have to pay the whole amount which is balanced as per BBA or we have to go with the CLP. But as the honored learned receivers have already clarified that they will make a schedule of that and will publish on the website so that the buyers can be aware about that. It's really very much helping. Only a small concern, sir, because a lot of people are already associated with Amit or some other groups. They are getting the information, but many of them are there who is not in a position to get the updates about what is going on. So is there any kind of platform or mail ID or the mobile number where the buyers can update their mobile number or the current email IDs so that they can get the notices or demands from the receiver side or any further updation? Because you can understand it's 8 or 10 years back, the buyers has booked the flat, and might be their mobile numbers got changed or the email IDs are not working, let's say, or many of them that time were not having the email ID, but now if they want
just give me 1 week's time. This will also be answered. My website will now provide for all possible corrections, changes, updating, etc. For all home buyers. I propose to create separate platform in my website for each project. Okay. And the customer list, once it is uploaded, can be periodically corrected by each home buyer themselves. Suppose 1 week later, suppose 1 month later, you want to come and make some change, your phone number, your email ID, or your address. I'll create a website in such a way that on your logging in, you can do the correction yourself. So it happen in about a week or 10 days time.
Thanks a lot. So because even me and my father-in-law are having a flat, but we are not getting even a single communication over the mail regarding any demand and kind of. So that's where we were in a confusion whether we are be considered in a defaulter or kind of. So that's why. And secondly, because it's almost 5-7 years back, we have booked this flat. Right now, we are not having the appropriate account statements as well. So that was the concern, that how we can validate what amount we have submitted and what is due.
We will do all that. In about, as I told you, all that website will be updated. It will be reorganized so that all these queries will be answered. Just wait for about maximum 2 weeks time.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
can we get the website, please?
Hello. I have a question, sir.
Yeah, sir.
I have a question. So I am actually a buyer of Tropical Garden. I think this question may have been answered. This is the first time I'm interacting with you. So So like I am registered in CLP plans. Just wanted to confirm, like the buyers, like do we have to make the remaining payment in one go, or as per our CLP plan, like which is
No.
mentioned in the.
I've answered this question at the beginning. And please wait for a week more on my website. You will get NBCC construction schedule and my detailed advice to all the home buyers how you are to now make payments. Just wait for a week. You will get all the details.
Yeah, is this for all the projects or only for?
Yeah, it will apply to all the projects. Nobody need to make the payment in one go. But if you have a lot of money in your pocket, please make it in one go.
And sir, can we share the website, please?
Hello, sir. I have a question actually.
Yeah.
One by one, please ask one by one.
I have
to understand about the fresh loans. So basically, I talked to the bank authorities and they are not ready to disburse the bank loans. I talked to Canara Bank, from which I availed the loan previously. So they are saying they do not have any information. I talked to HDFC Bank. They said that it's too risky to disburse any fresh loan for Amrapali. So in that case, what should we do? Because fresh loans we are not getting right now.
No, this question has been answered by receiver. We would share the responses in his video response to you with all buyers. Let's not repeat.
So what was being asked about the loans which are being pending? I'm talking about the fresh loan. I was in the meeting all the time.
I tell you, same. I think the court has ordered all the banks to not only give fresh loans but also disburse the pending loans. I have sent mails to several banks. I am repeatedly following it up, but the problem is the banks must have some clarity and understanding on how to disburse the pending loans or the fresh loans on a restructuring of the EMI liabilities. Unless they have clarity on that, they will not disburse loans at all. So this clarity will come only after we have discussions with them. I think in the course of this month, that also should be settled. Then your question will be answered.
So can we get your website, please?
Amit is there to help you out.
All right.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes.
Dear participant,
not get involved in that questions.
Yes.
Dear participant, before asking question, can you guys raise it in chat window so that
No,
I
think sir has very limited time. Let's not keep him
I have
engaged.
about 5 people waiting for me.
Yes, sir. Before we disconnect, I want another just a small advice from you in terms of a pertinent question which has been coming from us through London. There's a buyer in London. She's asking, can we ask NBCC, since lot many Amrapali projects like Centurion, they have a site office already, but it is being seized by Supreme Court. In their order, they have seized Centurion Park site office. Is there any possibility that we can ask Supreme Court to get these office on, and NBCC can use this floor so that buyers' issues can be addressed on site?
As soon as the construction begins in all the projects, NBCC will have a site office.
Okay.
In all the projects.
Okay.
Sir, please, one question. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, एक क्वेश्चन था.
Yeah, Logi, go ahead.
सर, शिफ्टिंग का ऑप्शन है क्या जो नियर टू पोजीशन है, अगर वहां पे यूनिट शिफ्ट करना चाहे?
This question is also being answered.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I will give them the downloads about it. We are thankful. I know you are running short of time, so we will be happy. You can go ahead and continue with your meetings. And for now, I will give them the downloads about it. What we have been discussing, I will give these buyers a download about it. And we are thankful that you have entertained.
Do that, and then please assist me with that information which I wanted on these categories of cases. We will try to do them as early as possible. And now I think if this visual conference is quite useful, right? A lot of things be spoken and then discussed. What I would suggest is we will have, I'm calling them the town hall meetings, right?
Okay.
Okay, like NDTV has got a town hall meeting.
No, it's worth. Actually, people wanted to see you. They wanted to hear you because everybody is being, most of them are communicating through you through
So we will
website,
do.
through emails.
We will have a periodical meeting.
Absolutely, sir. That would help buyers.
I'll work out a timetable and share it with all of you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for
I have a question, sir.
joining us.
Just one last question, sir. Maybe it might be a repetitive question. Like, just wanted to confirm: is there any deadline which has been mentioned by NBCC to make next set of payment? I'm not sure whether, because I noticed in some group like we have to pay the like next set of payment in 3 months or so. Like I have read in some of the group. Just wanted to confirm of that part. Is there any deadline mentioned when we have to make the like next set of payment, or is anybody else aware about it?
I think I have discussed this issue, but
Yes.
just to give you one answer, quick answer. Suppose if NBCC was to start the work in August, right? And from the balance payment to be made by home buyers, by November 2020, they will require 30%. That is, between August to November, they would require each home buyer to make a deposit of 30% of the balance payable by them. So then the next payment schedule, let's say you have a chance between November to February. Between November to February, you will have to make the next 30% payment. And it goes on like that. I am trying to improve on this, and this will be uploaded very shortly. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for giving us your precious time, helping buyers understand your perspective. Thank you so much,